Our next lesson is on comparing decimals. When comparing numbers, always look at the whole number first. Here we have a 253 and a 254. So automatically I know that 254 is larger. So 253 and 998 thousandths is less than 254 and 2 thousandths. So look at the whole numbers first because that may be very helpful. If the whole numbers are equal, like in this case, begin comparing the digits after and especially to the right. Here we have the 2's are the same. So we go to the tens place and I have a 5 and a 4. Now this is where people get confused because look at all those 9's after the 4. Wouldn't that be bigger? No, it wouldn't because each place value gets smaller and smaller and smaller as we move to the right. So the 5 is larger and we can say 2 and 5/10 is greater than 2 and 4,999,999 10 millionths. Sometimes a picture will help us also to explain. For example, here I have 6/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if I convert the 6/10 to the hundredths and color in 60 hundredths, what do you notice? If you look carefully, they're exactly the same. And if I color in 600 thousandths, what do you think you're going to see? If you thought they were going to look the same, you're exactly right. All we did was cut the pieces into smaller pieces. On the left we have the tenths, and then we cut each of those into 10 parts to make hundredths, and we cut those hundredths into 10 parts each to make thousandths. So these would all be equal to one another. And if you compare them with the numbers, I see we have a 0 in the front of the whole numbers, and then we have a 6 in the 10th spot, a 6, and a 6. Next, what do you think would come behind this 6? Yeah, a 0, placeholder. And remember with decimals, we can add as many zeros as we need, as long as it's after or to the right of the decimal. So in this case, all three of these numbers are equal. Oops. So I'd like you to put some of these into your notes. Let's do a few of them together. The first one, and also, again, if you go back and think about how I compared the decimals, the whole numbers, I like to line them up, and I know that's going to help me. I see the 1's are the same, the 7's are the same, the 3's are the same, and here's where they're not the same. I see an 8 is larger than a 7, so therefore I know that. That's the correct symbol. 17 and 385 thousandths is greater than 17 and 379 thousandths. Now in this one, I see I have 152 on both, but look at the tenths place. 8 is larger than 7, so that's the correct symbol. Now don't get confused on the next one. I have a 38 in both the whole numbers, but I have a 2 in the 10th spot and a 0. So which one's larger, 2 or 0? You're right. Even though this only has one digit after the decimal, and this one has 2, this one is larger, the 38 and 2/10. On the next one, I see I have a 3 in the whole number, so I go back to the 10th spot, and I have a 9 and a 1. Again, which one is larger, 9 or 1? You're right, a 9. We could also put zeros back here, and that may also help to see that 900 thousandths is larger than 199 thousandths. 324 is larger than 323. So therefore, that's the correct symbol. And in the last one, I have a 0 in the 10 spot. I have a 2 in the 100 spot. What can I put here? You're right. So these are equal. Now when comparing more than two decimals, it's easy to put them in order to see. If you line up the decimals, just like this, you can see right away we have two different sets here. We have ones that have ones in the one spot and one that have tens. So let's start with the ones. I go to the next place value. I have a 2 and a 3. So I know that the 2 is the smallest one, and I'm going to cross that out. And I'm going to also put down 1 and 32 hundredths as the next one. Now I'm going to go and look at the one that has tens as a whole number. Again, I go back to the tenths place, and I see I have a 2 here, and that is larger than the 3 here. So the next one is 10 and 23 hundredths, and then we have 10 and 32 hundredths. By using this method, I will guarantee that 95% of the time you will put them in order if you take the time to list them. Here's another example I'd like you to try on your own. The first thing what I would like you to do is to write them in your notebook, and I'd like you to put them in order. I'd like you to list them so you have all the decimal places are lined up, and then write the correct answer. You may pause the video now. Okay, what did you get? I see that they all start with a 5. I have a 2 here and a 2 here, so that means I'm not going to really look at these two numbers. I'm going to look at the next place values on the other two. So I have a 4 here and a 3 here. That means that the 3 is smaller. So I'm going to start with 5 234 thousandths. Cross it out. So then I go back up and I have 5 243 thousandths. Cross it out. Next I have 3's in the tenth spot. So I go to the hundredths and I have a 4 and a 2. Well, 2 is smaller, so that must be the next number. 5 and 324 thousandths. Cross it out. 5 and 342 thousandths. And I can check this easily. I have 5's in the ones place. I have 2, 2, that's in order. 3, 3, that's in order. If I just look at the 2's, I have a 3 and a 4, that's in order. And if I look at the 3's, I have a 2 and a 4, and that's in order. I'd like you to put these in order from least to greatest. Again, there are 7 of them here. That's a large number. But go ahead and list them first, then put them in order. Pause the video right now. Here they are in order. Did you get them right? Go ahead and pause the video if you need to check it. Good job. I'd like you to put these in order for least to greatest for your independent practice, and we'll check them in class. Here's your helpful hint. Always make sure your decimals are lined up. That's going to help you to make sure that you have the right place values that you're comparing.